It actually happened. He actually did it. Garrett Riley and Mickey Conn will officially not return as Clemson staffers in 2026. Me and Tiger Paul Craven are here to break it all down. Welcome to a special edition of the Clemson Tigers live show. Um, this is a momentous, to say the least, a development in Clemson's offseason. Is something that, you know, at different points throughout the season seemed like an inevitability, but within the last month, obviously closing out on the winning streak and beating South Carolina, there were some rumblings, there were some questions about whether or not we would really get the staff changes that we hope to see in a really, really disappointing year. But Dabo Swinney went and pulled the trigger tonight. Just announced probably about 30 minutes ago. Pete Thamel, David Hood, all sorts of Clemson media members, all breaking the news that, yes, offensive coordinator Garrett Riley and safeties coach Mickey Conn will not return in 2026. And I have it on good authority that those aren't the only changes. But I don't want to waste any more time. Thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Support the channel. It really is a great help. And if you're new to the channel, this is a great time to go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when we go live, because we do want to do these sort of impromptu breaking live streams a little bit more often when possible. So thank you so much for your support. But let me bring on my co-host, Tiger Paul Craven. It happened, man. What's up?
Well. It's finally here. The offseason has finally hit. Bowl game is done. Dabo is finally making changes to the coaching staff. I know this is an exciting day for all Clemson Tiger fans. And I don't say that because I'm happy somebody lost their job, although financially they will be just fine. They will still be paid their contracts unless they find a new job, and then that amount, whatever they get paid from their new job, will get subtracted from whatever Clemson owes them. So I'm not dunking on somebody that got fired. I know what not working feels like after this last government shutdown, so I don't want to do that. But I'm excited as a Clemson Tiger fan. This was so needed. And you're right, Jordan, like heading into this offseason, right after that run that Clemson went on, rattling off victories and getting to that 7-win mark with that win against South Carolina, and some of Dabo's rhetoric that you could have, read into and said, what changes is he really going to make? I mean, he just recently talked about we're not as far away as people think we are. So heading after the bowl game, I started to have my own doubts of what changes is Clemson actually going to make this off. Like, are we really going to run this back for another year? And I talked about it after the bowl game in our post-game breakdown of that loss to Penn State, that I didn't think this team would make a bowl game next year if they stand pat with what they had and did not make big changes on the coaching staff and add 10-plus players via the transfer portal. Made it very clear. It looks like Dabo's heading in that direction. I'm excited. Now, as far as Garrett Riley goes and all that stuff, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what we think and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just excited that these changes have been made. These were the top two, in my opinion, coaching changes that needed to be made on this roster. Now, does that mean it's completely done? Everybody else is safe? I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think there may be more on the way. We shall see. I think there could be 4 to 5 coaching changes like we talked about in our post-game live. So I'm excited because at least Clemson's doing something to try to right the ship, to try to get back to some semblance of a contender in college football, which we have not been in quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's kind of do a kind of an autopsy on the Garrett Riley era at Clemson, the 3 seasons that Garrett Riley was the offensive coordinator. I mean, looking back on it, the results on the field are obviously just too inconsistent. It
Yeah.
wasn't all bad. I don't want to say that it was all bad. There were certainly some great moments, and some fun moments, and some semblances of good offense, particularly
Mhm.
last season. Um, but just the successes were too far in between, too few and far between.
Right.
And against the better opponents that Clemson played, it was just a consistent theme throughout his tenure. You just weren't able to generate enough offense. Now, I don't ascribe all of that to Garrett Riley and the scheme and play calling, although those certainly had their question marks. I do think the quarterback you've had for the last 3 seasons, while he does have some talent, he certainly displayed a lot of inconsistencies and never really settled in as a true guy that you could rely on week to week. And I think that's ultimately what was the downfall of this offense. Is they just, it was never things never clicked at the same time. Uh,
Hmm.
when you had a pretty veteran offensive line, your quarterback didn't always play well. You couldn't always run the ball. Um, and when you just have those kind of inconsistencies throughout 3 seasons, I mean, I think it was just time to make a change.
Yeah.
Um, I think one of the most damning things about Garrett Riley's offense the last 3 seasons is he got worse. This offense got worse in rushing every single year. His first year at Clemson in 2023, Clemson was 43rd in rushing offense.
Yeah.
Not terrible, not great. Ideally, you want better, especially for an offense that was billed to be a a rushing attack, the dirt raid as it was so affectionately called, and now it probably sends shivers down a lot of y'all's spines. But like
Oh.
it was a start in 2023, in what was otherwise a really pedestrian offense. But his first season, there were a lot of injuries in the wide receiver room, offensive line wasn't a whole lot of consistency there. 2024, you go and get Matt Luke as your offensive line coach. You have a lot more experience on that in that position room. You have another year of experience from Kay Klubnik. You bring back Phil Maffa to be your number one back, and you bring in two of your best receivers and two of the best young receivers in the country, in Bryant Wesco and T.J. Moore, and you had some success. But even despite that, and going to the college football playoff, all of those things, you drop down to 48th in offense in rushing offense.
Hmm.
So not a drastic drop off, but kind of head scratching considering how just kind of how much better the personnel was from year one to year two. Um, and I think the cracks really started to show in that bowl game, in that college football playoff game against Texas, when unfortunately, Phil Maffa is, on his last leg or last shoulder, really.
This
So to
man
speak.
was this man was running out there with one shoulder for like half the year,
Yeah, it was.
and they were continuing to run him.
Hey, you seen those tenderism videos, like where
Yeah.
they where they got the meat falling off the bone?
Yeah.
That was Phil Maffa's shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so you didn't have a whole lot of depth there, which for reasons that we'll talk about here pretty soon too. Um, and you just couldn't run the ball in that bowl game against Texas, in that college football playoff game against Texas. And Adam Randall becomes your number one back basically immediately after Jay Haynes tears his ACL in the ACC championship. And I think that was the sign to me when this offense didn't really have any answers running the football, or any ways to run the football that weren't, K Klubnik designed runs. Um, that was kind of the okay, something's not right here. And now we get to 2025. I don't think I need to tell you guys how poorly Clemson was at running the football, but I'm just going to spell it
Please,
out.
please do tell.
Yeah. It was not good. In fact, you weren't even a top 100 rushing offense. Clemson finished 104th in rushing offense, yards per game on a yards per game basis. 104th.
And before everybody runs to, well, you put a wide receiver at running back, that was not the reason.
No.
Because I can hear the comments already. Well, what do you expect when you put a wide receiver at running back? Adam Randall wasn't the problem.
No.
He was not the problem.
No. And when you take that into account, I don't know any college football playoff team that is winning games with the 104th rushing offense. I just no. I mean, there's not even teams winning their conference that are in the hundreds in rushing offense. Let me tell you the company that Clemson had in rushing offense this year. Washington State, who was better than them, at 101. Purdue and Colorado were tied at 102nd. So they were better than you. Just behind Clemson was Oregon State. Behind them was Syracuse, who beat you, by the way. Arkansas State.
You mean the team that didn't win a game after they beat you?
Yeah. Yes, the team that didn't win a game after they beat you.
That team.
Arkansas State, Michigan State, Georgia State, and Appalachian State. Do I need to keep going? Are any of these college football playoff teams? Are any of these teams? I mean, I guess you know what? I'll give Alabama credit because they actually somehow managed to be a worse rushing offense than you, and they're in the college football playoff. But then again, they have a real offense, an offensive-minded head coach, and they had a quarterback that wasn't Cade Klubnik.
I like how you thought about what you were going to say there.
Yeah, I had to, and they had a much better defense than you, so that was that helped too. So you take all of those things into account, and this was just an untenable situation on the offensive side of the ball. There was no way you could run this back, especially with how you closed the season.
I mean,
just no.
Look, when I think about Garrett Riley's tenure at Clemson, and I'll go back to the day that Jordan, me and you found out, and it happened to be on a Thursday. It happened to be right before we were starting our weekly show, the All In Show, which we still do. 99 of you in here, shameless plug. Stop by tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We'll be doing the All In Show. Hope you guys will come out and show us some love over there. We'll be talking Clemson football, college football. We'll be giving college football playoff predictions. We'll be doing all sorts of stuff on the show. So come stop by, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, right? But it happened on a Thursday right before our show aired. And that was probably one of our biggest shows to date because it was the announcement of Brandon Streeter firing. And at basically the same time, they announced that Garrett Riley was being hired as the offensive coordinator. So Dabo kind of did it in one fell swoop. It kind of caught everybody off guard. Everybody kind of wanted there to be a change at offensive coordinator. But me and you were on the record at that point of he's not going to make a change. There's no way. Brandon Streeter, 1 year in, he's going to just fire this guy that played for him. Like, it's not going to happen. It did. Brings in Garrett Riley. Let's just be completely honest. I know I thought it was going to be – I thought it was a slam dunk hire immediately. Oh, yeah. I was like, I don't think Clemson could have did any better if you would have asked me at that point in time. Now, 3 seasons removed from that, my opinion couldn't be any different. It just did not work out at Clemson. And I'll go back, Jordan, to his introductory press conference. What did he talk about? You mentioned it when you were talking about the steady decline in rushing offense year over year since Garrett Riley's been here. He called his offense what? The dirt raid. We have seen anything but the dirt raid in Clemson, South Carolina since Garrett Riley has been at the helm of the Clemson offense. It's not the dirt raid. I don't know why he calls it the dirt raid. It kind of, maybe because it kind of sounds different and unique and he likes that. But Garrett Riley far too often abandons the run game in situations where we cannot afford to abandon the run game. There's games where he doesn't even try to run the football. Just this past weekend against Penn State, we ran the ball 15 times with the traditional running game. By traditional running game, I mean quarterback takes a snap, hands off to a running back. We did that 15 times all game. I think we only did it 5 times in the first half. It's just far too often the running game is an afterthought in this offense, and it doesn't work. Clemson has always been a team that has run the ball well. Yes, do they spread you out? Yes, do they throw the ball all over the place? Have they had quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence and Taj Boyd and all these great receivers that have gone on to the NFL? Yes, we've had all that. But to accompany that, there was Andre Ellington and Wayne Gallman and Travis Etienne and a slew of great running backs that produced at a very high level, right? That hasn't been the case since Garrett Riley's been in town. And that, to me, is the biggest failure of his scheme and of his offense. He does not commit to the run enough. And it's not all his fault. Cade Klubnik is to blame for this. The offensive line is to blame for this. There's a lot of pieces that go into it. But at the end of the day, we're 3 years into this. And it's trending further and further in the wrong direction and not trending in the right direction. And to me, that signals you got to make a change. It's not working for whatever reason. I'm not saying Garrett Riley's done. I'm not saying he's a bad offensive coordinator. I'm just saying at Clemson, he don't work. He doesn't match what Clemson's trying to do right now. He doesn't match what the personnel that they have. He is not capable of taking this Clemson offense where they need to go. So you got to make a change. And that's what Dabo did. He made a change. And I applaud him for it. I'm happy he made the change. I'm ready to turn the page from Garrett Riley. I know there were fans out there towards the end of the season that started asking the question of, oh, what if Dabo runs it back one more time with Garrett Riley? What does that look like? Should Garrett Riley be given another season with a quarterback not named Cade Klubnik? I've heard all of it. The answer for me was always no. We had seen enough. And if you haven't seen enough, I don't know what more you need to see from Garrett Riley as the offensive coordinator at Clemson to tell you he's just not the guy. So I'm excited to see who Clemson may get. It sounded by Dabo Swinney's comments that there would be an outside hire, specifically for the offensive coordinator position. Sounds like he's going to do some sort of national search. He's going to go try to seek out the best guy, the guy that he thinks fits the best for what Clemson wants to do and the athletes that Clemson currently has on the roster and may get via the transfer portal. But I'm excited to see who it is. And I hope it works out a whole lot better than Garrett Riley did, a whole lot better than Brandon Streeter did. I hope that happens. So I think it's a positive thing that Clemson has made these two changes. I don't think these are the only two changes that are going to come. But I think making a change at offensive coordinator was very clear. I don't think this was like, I know some people are shocked, and I'm maybe slightly shocked today that he made the change just because of some of the comments that he's made recently after that run of victories. I thought, oh man, people started saying some stuff and I was like, man, are we really going to is there a world where we keep Garrett Riley for a 4th year just to see what he can do with another quarterback? Those thoughts start creeping in the longer the offseason goes. And I was like, if you're going to make a change at offensive coordinator, you need to do it now before the bowl game so you can have somebody in place for the transfer portal window. Clearly, Dabo Swinney didn't feel like he needed to do that. So we will see who he targets. We will see what names pop up. I'm excited. I am on the record on the postgame live of saying Clemson is still one of the bigger brands in college football and still capable of pulling some massive coaches, some top level offensive coordinator types. I am still of the belief that they still have enough cachet in college football right now, to basically go get essentially who they want. Obviously, some guys are going to be interested, some guys aren't going to be interested, so on and so forth. That's what's every job. But Clemson is one of those programs, I believe, still currently that can go get almost anyone on their list, right? And because of that, you need to cash in now, because that's not always going to be the case if you keep trending in the direction that Clemson has been trending in for the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say this. I'm going to do a quick. This is not going to be a defense of Garrett Riley. This is not going to be me running cover for him. So I don't want anybody to misconstrue.
Jordan's trying to save Clemson money right now. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah. That's totally what I'm doing. This can't be a half-assed thing this time around.
No.
It just can't. And Garrett Riley, for all his flaws and for all the things that went wrong and didn't go well during his tenure, Clemson didn't do everything it could have done to give him the opportunity to succeed. I think that's very obvious. I think that was obvious for him. I think it was obvious for his predecessor, Brandon Streeter. I don't think Clemson has been doing enough, and I think it's pretty obvious that Clemson has not been doing enough. Dabo Swinney has not been doing enough to get to put his coordinators in positions to succeed. He just hasn't, on both sides of the ball. And so this is, and I tweeted this out, this is a first step. That's all. Those are the only two words I said in response to this. This is a first step.
Yes.
It cannot stop here.
No.
Not just in terms of staff changes, but it needs to be the start of a complete revamp, overhaul, whatever you want to call it, of Clemson's process in terms of talent acquisition and what they prioritize in football players. Because flat out, point blank, this roster was not good enough. And we were sold, and we both believed coming into this year, man, look at all the skill talent that Clemson is bringing back. Right. Man, you're bringing back quarterback in Kay Klubnik, who just threw for 3,600 yards. He had over 40 touchdowns. Like, he's going to be on Heisman list. Maybe he's a first-round pick. Like, these were conversations being had in the offseason.
By not just our channel, but all the national channels as well. So it wasn't just like the orange colored glasses over here being like, oh, Clemson's going to be great and we love Clemson and we're going to talk them up regardless. Like, no, they were a top 4 team in the nation.
Yep. Entering
the season.
Here
we sit
in
December at 7-6 with a terrible season. And I said it on the post-game live. Go look at the teams that Clemson beat. Go look at their records. They're bad football teams too.
Yep.
Clemson didn't beat one good football team this year.
Maybe Louisville. Louisville's probably the best team you beat. Yeah.
Maybe Louisville. But they're so hot and cold. I mean, maybe them. But for the most part, we didn't beat a good football team this year.
And you were fortunate to win that Louisville game, by the way. So, like, this can't be like look, we had all of these conversations in the offseason, but then you watch the product on the field, and my eyes did not see a top 5, top 10 roster in the country. It just didn't.
No.
Like regardless of the results on the field in terms of wins and losses, they did not look like they had the Jimmies and Joes, even though we thought they did.
No,
and what that tells me is Clemson flat out, I mean, missed evaluations for sure are a massive part of it, but not backfilling whenever you needed depth at running back.
Yes.
In a season where you had two of your scholarship running backs essentially out for the season, and you convert a wide receiver into running back because you need the help, and the true freshman top five back in the country in terms of his recruiting class is not as ready to play as we all thought he was. Like you put all of those things together, and you end up having an offensive line that just flat out was, for whatever reason, was completely underprepared and looked like they took a step back in a lot of ways from last season, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about that too. Like, it was obvious that Garrett Riley, as much as we talked about how much personnel he was going to have to work with, they just didn't. And that's on Dabo. That's on his philosophy. We praise them for the work they did in retaining some of their top guys, but this team needed more help than we realized. And we're not the ones in the building every day. We're not the ones in practice every day. We don't get to see all of that. But Dabo does. And I do not believe that this offense was tearing up the defense in the offseason, and he was just like, man, we're going to be really good. That was not the case.
No.
So this team, and really on both sides of the ball, this team needed more help than we realized. And you're flat out, your head coach didn't feel like he needed to go get anybody. I mean, besides, the three transfer players that you got, great. You know, they all helped you in some way or another. Obviously, Will helped by far, being the best addition, you know, arguably your best player on defense. But, you know, you only got one offensive player. You got one receiver, and Tristan Smith, who we all like. But, I mean, he's not a difference maker. He's not a game changer. I hope he comes back. It'd be nice to have that continuity. But again, it was clear that this offense needed more help at running back.
Yeah.
Clearly, you didn't have as much depth as you thought on the offensive line. You have a lot of guys that are just flat out, they're just kind of there on the roster right now. And obviously, the quarterback situation, we don't even really need to get into that all that much. You don't really. I mean, Cade Klubnik was your best option, and he was your best option by far. And I think that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's a problem for 2026 as well. I don't believe Clemson's starting quarterback is on the roster currently.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. I want to see Clemson go get a quarterback that can either solidify or compete for the starting position. And if you want to give Chris Vizina a chance, sure. But go get somebody that can legitimately start for you in 2026 and let them two duke it out and see who comes out on top. If Chris Vizina's the guy and he beats him out, whoever you bring in, cool. But just staying pat with what you got on the roster, Chris Vizina, Chris Denson, Tate Reynolds, like, no. No. That ain't going to work. Same thing with the offensive line. I think you need to bring in a couple bridge guys. I think you need to bring in a couple offensive linemen to kind of bridge the gap between where you're at now and some of those big-time recruits that have been brought in that are still developing and still getting their feet under them and still getting to the point where they can play meaningful football for you down in, down out, week in, week out, right? So to your point, Jordan, like, this should not be the end. This is the tip of the iceberg, right? This is the beginning of the evolution that fans of Clemson would like to see. We need to see an evolution of Clemson football, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, right? Clemson football needs to be reborn in the 2026 offseason, 2025, 2026 offseason, whatever you want to call it, right? Prior to the 2026 football season, this Clemson program needs to be completely reborn, both on the coaching staff and from a player personnel standpoint. You need to hit the transfer portal in a massive way. I'm talking 10, 15 transfers. And that's not going to be probably an every year number for Clemson. But right now, there are so many holes on this roster, and you have missed out on so many high school recruits that you used to get. Now, I wasn't down for the criticism of Clemson recruiting when people were like, well, they're not recruiting in the top 5. Clemson doesn't ever consistently recruit in the top 5. Even when they were winning national championships, they never consistently recruited in the top 5. They were like 8 to 12, right? That was their sweet spot in the Dabo Swinney era, 8 to 12. Somewhere in there is where they kind of hung out. We're not even close to that now.
Nope.
We're not even close. So recruiting's completely fallen off. You're not using the transfer portal. Your coaching staff is grown stale. They're not doing their job. They're not developing the talent that they're bringing in. So, yeah, it's exciting that Garrett Riley is now gone. Mickey Conn is now gone. There need to be other guys that go. There needs to be another 2 to 3 coaches that go. And you need to supplement this roster with 10 to 15 players that are ready to start for you in 2026. At least, at a minimum, compete for the starting position in 2026. And if somebody on your roster outcompetes that person you brought in, I'm cool with it. Football's the biggest meritocracy, right? What you put on the field, hey, that's it. If you're the best guy, put him out there. I don't care if he's a walk-on. I don't care if he's a 5-star. Put him out there if he's the best guy. If he's playing the best in that moment, put him out there, right? So this needs to be an evolution for Clemson football. And this season, by Dabo himself, has been attributed to that 2010 offseason, right?
Yep.
Where was probably his other roughest season as a Clemson head coach. This is a pivotal offseason for Clemson football. It cannot be understated how big of an offseason this is. This is massive. And much like I've stated before, we will know before spring ball hits. I think all us on this channel, Clemson fans alike, all the fans that watch this show, we will know whether Clemson is going to start trending closer back towards a contender or Dabo Swinney is going to become one of those legendary coaches that the back end of his career is just riddled with a program that's fallen apart that he built. I said it in the post-game live, right? Who are you going to be?
Yep.
You're going to be a Bobby Bowden, who is a beloved coach. Nothing against Bobby Bowden. No slander here. Love that guy. Great. But what happened towards the end of his career at Florida State? Fell apart. It wasn't good. And eventually they had to move on. So are you going to force Clemson to move on from the greatest coach they've ever known? Or are you going to evolve closer to a Nick Saban, right? Who are you going to be? I'm not saying Dabo Swinney's Nick Saban. I'm not saying Ever's going to win national titles like Nick Saban did. It's not what I'm saying. But the point is, there's two opposite ends of the spectrum. Who are you going to be? You going to be that head coach that evolves with the times? You going to be that coach that figures out a way to become a championship contender in multiple different iterations of what college football is? Or are you going to stand pat and I'm going to do it my way and I'm not changing and you're going to keep tumbling down this cliff? If you continue to do that, you won't make a bowl game next year. You just won't.
Nope.
But he's fully capable of changing and evolving and getting Clemson at or near the top of college football again. He is capable. What will he choose? This is a step in a positive direction, getting rid of these two coaches. But to your point, Jordan, this isn't where it ends. This is where it begins. There's a lot more work to do. A lot more. This Clemson team, contrary to what he says in the media, we're not as far away as people think we are. We're far away.
We are far
away right now. Now, the beauty of the new age college football is you can be far away and you can get really close in an offseason because of the transfer portal. So we'll see what Clemson does.
We'll see. I mean, I don't even know if I could even, state anything you said better. I mean, that's the choice that this coaching staff, what your head coach is facing.
Yeah.
This offseason.
And it's a tough choice, man. It's not easy. Like, I know us as fans outside looking in, it's easy for us, right? We're like, why wouldn't you change? Why are you being so stubborn? When you've been as successful as he has, and you built Clemson basically from nothing into what it is, like, regardless of what happens, regardless of whether he turns it around or not, he will go down as the greatest coach in Clemson history, unless somebody else comes along and does it better, which is probably unlikely.
Yeah.
He's already the greatest coach in Clemson history. It's hard to look at the way that you've always done things and be like, that's not good enough anymore. I have to completely change. It's hard. But it's necessary if he wants to stay relevant, if he wants to continue to push this program and put them at or near the top of college football, which is what he's always said he wanted to do. I go back to the first ACC championship under Dabo Swinney, when all the fans were excited and we were like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And he was like, hold up, pump the brakes. This is not the end goal. The goals are much loftier than one ACC championship. So we'll see what his choice is. He's got a lot of work to do in this offseason. And I do believe before spring, we will know if we are trending towards getting back to that, or we're just going to keep this slow tumble down the mountain of college football and eventually just become this mediocre program that, you're kind of there, but nobody really talks about you seriously, which is not something that I want for Clemson.
No.
I know some of the older Clemson fans are out there and they're like, oh, I remember when, 7-5 was a great year and blah, 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 blah. That's great. I don't want to go back to that. Do you? No.
No, thanks.
We've had multiple national championships. We went to 6 straight college football playoffs in a row. Why would I want to go back to 7-5? That sounds ridiculous. I want to stay up there. I want to stay being a perennial college football playoff team. I want to stay being at or near the top of college football. I want to be named with those 5, 6, 7, 8 programs that are at the top of college football. I want Clemson to be in there. I don't think that's too much to ask. The amount of money that's invested in the football program and facilities and coaching salaries, Clemson should be up there.
Absolutely.
And when you're paid $11 million a year, it's about winning. It's about winning. You don't pay a coach $11 million to like, oh, we win some, we lose some, No. He's a top 3 paid college football coach in the nation. Are we currently a top 3 program?
Nope. Not even close.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
You don't get paid $11 million to be a developer of young men. Listen,
No.
I appreciate the way
Right.
Dabo has run his program for the
Yes.
last 15, 16 years, or really 17 at this point. But this is not what is in his job description.
No.
Your job description isn't to, turn these boys into young men and getting them prepared for the next. Like, that's great. That is awesome.
You should do those things.
I don't want that to change.
You should do those things.
But you got to keep
conjunction with winning football games.
Yeah. What I'm a quote. I'm a quote with Jalen Hurts. You got to keep the main thing the main thing. This program is not keeping the main thing the main thing. It just isn't. When you're investing as much as you do in this sport, 7-6 is never good enough.
Heck no. Not at Clemson.
Yeah.
No. We own the ACC. We should be competing for that title every single year. We own this conference. Contrary to whatever Miami wants to think, whatever Florida State wants to think, they don't even own this conference. We own this conference. Go look at the ACC titles. Who has the most? Look at all the Tiger Paws. We own this conference. You should be competing for that conference at a minimum every single year. That's the minimum. And then we'll talk about college football playoff and all that, right? But competing for the ACC year in and year out, that's a minimum at Clemson. Like, that's the new standard. And I know it's not easy to win college football games. Hey, that's fine. But you get paid a lot of money to figure out how to win them. So, a lot of work to do in this offseason, Jordan. It's going to be the beauty of it for us as content creators. We're going to have a lot to talk about. And that's a great thing. Brings more people to our channel, gets more subscribers, gets more likes to the channel. It diversifies our live chat with different fan bases and different people with different opinions, which we love. So I'm excited to see who Clemson names as OC. Now, talking about the Mickey Conn and the safety coach being fired, it's of my opinion, and this is just outside looking in. I have no insider knowledge. So this is just reading the quotes from Dabo and knowing what happened on the team this season and just using my brain power, which may or may not be a lot. We'll see. But I think they're going to fill that position from within. Maybe Tom Allen Jr., who moved over to the safeties room earlier this season to assist and not fill that from the outside. But judging by Dabo Swinney's comments, the offensive coordinator will 1,000% be an outside hire, which I think makes all Clemson fans excited to see who it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, this was a move that had to be made, another one. And this was the one move that I felt pretty sure was going to happen no matter what. If there was one thing I was certain about is there was no chance that Mickey Conn was coaching your safeties next year. Now, what that looked like, I wasn't entirely sure, but it doesn't look like he's going to be with the staff in any capacity next year.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's going to move on.
Fine, which is more than fine with me. And listen, I think Mickey Conn has done a lot of good things for Clemson. Contrary to what people believe, like him being Dabo's former roommate, former teammate in college, like all of those things that used to, people would knock him for that. And I get that, the nepotism stuff. But yeah, Mickey Conn was a valuable asset for Clemson football for a long time, a very long time. His ties to the Georgia area, to the Metro Atlanta area, he was a massive part of a lot of big time recruiting wins for Clemson over the years. So I don't want people to misrepresent that. I don't want people to say that Mickey Conn was purely a buddy hire. Mickey Conn had a lot of utility on this staff. Unfortunately, the guy is just not a great position coach, and it's over the years it's been very, very evident. And when he's gotten more and more responsibility, and as he got more and more leeway, and as he got bigger pay raises, when his responsibilities grew, it became ever increasingly clear. And now and it all culminated in this season where this was, quite frankly, some of the worst safety play that Clemson has had ever.
I mean, let's face it. He's been the safeties coach at Clemson since 2017.
Yeah.
That room's gotten worse every single year.
Yeah. They've had some good players, don't get me wrong.
Sure. They've had some good players.
Kayvon Wallace, R.J. Mickens. Andrew Makuba was a great player that you let go because you weren't able to get the most out of him. But that was the thing.
Why do you think Andrew Makuba left?
Exactly.
It wasn't because of Dabo. It wasn't because of Clemson. Yes, it was about money that Texas was going to pay him. But it was also about he truly felt that his position coach could not get the best out of him in order to increase his NFL stock. That's what he believed. And guess what? Unfortunately, He was right. Mickey Conn's a problem, and he's gone. And I'm glad that Clemson has moved on from him. I think it's one of those things that you kind of have seen this coming for a long time. It took Dabo way too long to pull the trigger on this, but regardless, here we are, and thankfully we're here, and we can get that safety position kind of shored up. Because I mean, what was the biggest glaring issue of Clemson's defense? I mean, there was a lot of issues on Clemson's defense this year. Like, let's make no mistake about it. Yeah. But the biggest, most consistent glaring issue on Clemson's defense was the safety room. It was downright bad this year. Like, there was no saving grace to the safety room this year. And that falls squarely at the feet of Mickey Conn.
Yep.
And I think ultimately that's why Dabo had no choice but to move on from Mickey Conn and transition that room to someone else.
Yeah, man. I mean, slow, couldn't tackle, couldn't cover.
Can't cover, can't tackle out in space, can't run sideline to sideline. I mean, Ronan Hannafin's out there doing his best, but that kind of speaks to the room more so than kind of Ronan Hannafin, right? That's what I think. Yeah. That kind of speaks to the coach more than the player.
I mean, is Noah Dixon even a real person?
I don't know. I've never seen him. Heard his name. I know he wears a Clemson jersey. But have you ever seen him on a football field?
I don't know, man.
I've seen his high school tape.
Yeah, he had a really great high school tape.
I mean, maybe those tapes were faked. I don't know. Maybe he's not a real person. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem in the safety room. So, good on Dabo for these two changes on the coaching staff. Again, like you said, Jordan, should not be the first. This should be the tip of the iceberg. Should be much more change to come with the coaching staff and also with player personnel. But let's talk about OC. Everybody in the comment section, I can see them commenting already.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the top 5 OC picks? Who's this? Who's that? Who's Clemson going to target? Do you have any opinion on who Clemson may target? Any names that are popping into your mind, or just a profile of a person that you would want Clemson to kind of go after as an OC following this Garrett Riley tenure of 3 years at Clemson? Kind of any thoughts on that? Because a lot of people are throwing a lot of names out in the chat. So I want to kind of get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, one trend that we've noticed, when Clemson has and when Dabo has gone and gotten a coaching hire, made a coaching hire, he's always tried to make it pretty significantly different than the guy that preceded him. For obviously, like Wes Goodwin, he was, defensive coordinator for 3 seasons. Was not great.
Very different than Brent Venables, that's for sure.
Yeah. Was not a great 3 seasons. A guy that had never been a coordinator before, never been a position coach before.
Yeah.
And was put in this position that he just quite frankly wasn't ready for. And then, what does Dabo do after the 2024 season? He goes and gets one of the most tenured defensive minds in all of college football in Tom Allen. I think the first thing that I feel like Dabo is going to look for in a new offensive coordinator, it's got to be a guy that's done it before and done it at a high level for a long time. No more young up and comers. No more. I need somebody that knows that knows his system and knows how to implement his system and is going to do whatever it takes to make that system work. I think you're going to go. I think you're going to go get some real experience. A guy that has not, cut his teeth underneath like an offensive-minded head coach like Garrett Riley was. Had never really spent any time as a coordinator, running his own offense until he came to Clemson. That's you're going to go get somebody that has done it, maybe even as a head coach. I think that's first and foremost. And second, it's got to be a guy that's going to emphasize physicality up front on the offensive line and running the football.
Yes.
That has to be the identity of Clemson football. You have recruited to that in recent year, in the recent couple recruiting cycles. You have a phenomenal offensive line class coming in. Basically the saving grace of your recruiting class right now. Them and the receivers. Like, you need to that's going to be able to. You need to be able to win the offensive line. You need to be able to win the line of scrimmage again, because so many times this season, teams either stalemated you or flat out dominated you on the line of scrimmage. There were not many games this year where you flat out looked like the better team up front. I can't even really. I mean, the teams that were truly outmatched, like North Carolina and Boston College, like those were probably your best looking games, but those teams just flat out were inferior to you. But teams with somewhat comparable talent couldn't win the line of scrimmage, couldn't get pushed, couldn't run the football. That's got to be different now. You have an offensive line coach that knows how to recruit to a physical style of play on offense. Go get somebody who aligns with that vision, not a guy that's going to throw the ball 40 plus times because and abandoning the run because you get stuffed a couple of times in your first couple of inside zones. Like, you need to go get somebody that cares about winning the line of scrimmage. You are in a league that does not emphasize the line of scrimmage, that does not recruit the talent on the lines that you do, say for a couple of programs, really only one program. You need to be able to win the line of scrimmage. Miami didn't win the league, but they were damn good at running the football. They were damn good, and they were physical up front. And guess what? They still made the college football playoff. If Mario Cristobal wasn't their head coach, they probably would have been 11-1, 12-0. That's just what it is. And I'm not saying you need to be like Miami. That's not what I'm saying. But winning the line of scrimmage is a universal thing. Being physical on the offensive line, that is a universal ingredient to winning football games. So whoever that is, I don't know. I don't know who. Your guess is as good as mine right now. But I feel like that's
I don't have any particular names in mind to be completely. Maybe we can come up with a list for the All In Show. Again, 110 people in here right now. Shameless plug for the All In Show. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. We will be doing a weekly show that we do on the channel called the All In Show. Hope you guys will stop by. We talk Clemson football, college football. We'll be giving our college football playoff predictions for the quarterfinals, all of that stuff. Maybe we'll give you a list of offensive coordinators that we will be interested in for Clemson to go after. So stay tuned for that. Come tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here on the channel. We'll be here doing the All In Show. Make sure you guys hit that like button while you're in here and consider subscribing. Me and Jordan do college football content year round. But Jordan, much like you, I don't have a particular name in mind, right? I'm sure I could come up with a list if I sat down and wrote it out and thought about it. But I do have a profile in mind, much like you. First and foremost, it's experience. It's proven talent. It's proven production at at multiple places, right? At multiple levels. You have to have proven yourself as an offensive coordinator. Much like you, I don't want to see an up-and-coming offensive coordinator. I want to see a proven commodity, somebody that we know is going to produce at a high level and be physical at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you kind of laid it out there perfectly. I don't really have anything to add to it. Clemson has recruited in a way where we want to be physical at the point of attack. We want to win the line of scrimmage. When has Clemson been the best? When we've run the ball well. when our defensive line has reestablished the line of scrimmage well, right? When we've been good at those two things, Clemson has been a national championship caliber team. That's what we have to get back to. You have to get back to consistently running the football. And you got a hell of a running back coming back in 2026 in Gideon Davison. And if you can hold on to a couple of these other guys, you got some talent behind them. And maybe there'll be a change in that room. We'll see. But the offensive coordinator needs to be committed to the run first and foremost. And everything comes off of the run. Everything is predicated off of being physical at the line of scrimmage, resetting that line of scrimmage. And then the passing game comes off of that. That's when Clemson's been at their best. That's who they've always been as a program. Look at their 3 national championships. What did they do well each of those seasons? They ran the football well. Their 6 straight national title runs, or 6 straight playoff runs under Dabo Swinney. What did they do well? They ran the football. Now, there were games where they didn't run well, but overall as a team, they ran the football well. That's what Clemson's got to get back to, that physicality, that toughness, that meanness in the trenches, both on the offense and the defensive line. That's when Clemson's been at their best. Designing their roster closer to an SEC team than an ACC team. As you mentioned, people in this they don't recruit to that. Clemson always has, which is why they run this conference. It's no secret because they can control the line of scrimmage in every single game. So get back to that. Find an offensive coordinator that meshes with that. Find a proven commodity that meshes with that. Go give him the money that he needs, and let's get started. Oh, and also go to the transfer portal and get a bunch of players that we need to fill gaps. Quarterback being one of them. Offensive line being another one. Safety being another one. Defensive end probably being another one. Linebacker possibly too.
A lot of holes, man.
Cornerback probably too. Like there's a lot of positions. I'll probably name every position on the field, and it's probably a hole for Clemson right now. So that's the type of offensive coordinator that I would like to see at Clemson. I don't want another experiment. I want somebody that commands the room like Tom Allen commands the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, this was not a banner year for Clemson's defense. Part of that is a personnel issue. Part of that is I think certain coaches don't mesh with what Tom Allen's trying to do. I think you've seen some of the turnover from that. But I believe Tom Allen can get Clemson's defense closer to what they were under Brent Venables than a Wes Goodwin could. Fully believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Fully believe that. So you need the same guy on offense that can be the head coach of his side of the football and set the tone over there. That's what you need. And Dabo can be that CEO, that overseer, that quality control type of guy that he's always been. He comes in, he does his little stuff, he adds his 2 cents, and he lets the head coaches of their side of the ball do their thing. That's what he needs on offense. I believe he's got it on defense right now. Clemson's defense is going to get better under Tom Allen. I believe that. Now you need that guy on offense. You need that head coach of the offense. Who's it going to be?
I mean, and the defense. I mean, the defense did get better this season.
They did. They 100% got better. They weren't to the level that we want them at, but it's a work in progress. And Tom Allen's been very clear on multiple interviews of there's personnel issues over there. There's guys over there that can't do what he's asking them to do, which is why we have the transfer portal. Go get those guys that Tom Allen needs in order to run his defense. And that's what Clemson has to do this offseason. particularly in the back end.
God, man,
We got some work to do in the back end of that defense.
I can't watch the safety play again that we saw this year.
It's bad, man. It's bad. It's really bad.
I'm having flashback Duke and SMU.
Teams that should not be doing that to you did it to you on multiple different weekends this season. They should not be capable of doing that against a Clemson team. But they were. Because the personnel is a problem too. Contrary to some Clemson fans' belief, the personnel is a problem as well. It is. You got to go fill it with the transfer portal. There's no other option.
Nope.
There's no other option. You got to go spend some money. If you want to be competitive in 2026, win the ACC, get into the college football playoff, and be able to compete, you got to go hit the transfer portal in a big way. And if you don't, well, you just won't be competitive next year.
Yep.
I don't care who you hire at coach. You won't be competitive. You don't have the athletes, particularly on defense. Sorry. Facts be the facts. I don't like them either, but I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it and pretend like Clemson's got, all the athletes they need right now. They don't.
Nope.
They don't. They got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of money to go spend.
Let's see if they do it.
They're too slow. They don't tackle well. They're not aggressive enough.
Can't cover.
Can't cover. Especially in safety. God, they can't cover.
No communication. Guys out of
some bright spots.
Yeah.
You got some bright spots, and you better go pay those guys because best believe some people are calling those dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So go take care of the guys you need to take care of, and you know who they are. You know exactly who they are. Will Help, Sammy Brown, all those dudes. Go take care of those guys first. But after that, go get the guys that you need.
Enough said. All right. I think this is a perfect time to kind of wind down, take some questions from you guys. Just see what you guys are talking about. We already got a lot of people.
Yeah.
Of course, the best way, if you have a comment or question, the super chat feature is the best way to do that. When we also do give priority to channel members, like our guy David over here, who says this might be the slowest Clemson team since the Bowden days. David does have that icon next to his name that does indicate that he is a channel member. If you're interested in supporting the channel on a monthly basis, the join button is in the description. You can pick your tier. Any tier gives you access to exclusive content, as well as priority reading during the comment section, live chat portion of the shows. So y'all feel free to consider doing that. And speaking of super chats, we have our first one of the night from JT. Thank you, sir, for the $5. He says, Jonathan Brewer from Duke. Thoughts? I think that would be a really, really solid hire. Jonathan Brewer, at least in his time at Duke, as successful as they were throwing the football with Darian Mensah, they had a true freshman back that he ran for 1,000 yards. I mean, they did run the football. And they were certainly, able to be physical with you at times during that game. I wouldn't be upset with that one. He's probably not the run first guy necessarily that I would really be eyeing, but I wouldn't be upset with that hire. I do like what he's done in his short time at Duke so far. So, but You need to go let him go get a transfer quarterback like Duke did. and that ended up working out for them really well. And he's coming back. So they're going to get 2 years of that. Let's see. Air Mike, another one of our channel members. Thank you for joining us. Said, I've also heard Todd Monken from the Ravens and Byron Leftwich from Texas Tech. Oh, man. Well, man, if Clemson were hired Todd Monken, I think me and you would both do a backflip on stream.
Hey, brother, look here. If we can go get Todd Monken or Joe Brady or something like that from the NFL, like, hey, if Clemson's got that kind of pull, hey, let's do it. Pay that dude whatever you need to. I'm all for that.
I will do a backflip, cartwheel. Yeah,
for sure.
I will look like
for sure.
I'll look like Simone Biles.
I think those two guys would be slam dunk hires. Todd Monken, Joe Brady, who's with the Bills right now as their OC. I don't know if those guys would be interested in getting back into college football. I think they probably left for a reason, but I mean, it's worth a call, you know? It's worth a call. They would certainly not be bad hires.
Hard takes it. We get Phillip Rivers. Old man Rivers.
Old man Rivers out here slinging it at 44.
Slinging that pill at 44.
Shout out to old man Rivers.
Oh, man. He's almost thrown as many passes this season as he has kids. It's
almost.
It's almost.
You got to get a lot of
Rivers, man.
You got to get a lot of passes to match up with kids.
It's unfortunate he's playing for. Well, those of you that know that watch the channel know that I'm a Titans fan, so can't really gas him up too much.
I got to root against your Titans next week, brother. Sorry.
Yeah.
They play Jacksonville, so you know.
Tennessee's lose. I mean, they're going to lose by 2 touchdowns, so I'm not too worried. But hey, Cam Ward is balling though. He's looking good in the final stretch.
He's looking much better towards the back end of the season, which to be expected, right? Like he's growing. But yeah, I hope Jacksonville kills him. So
yeah, probably will. Trevor's on a heater. Probably. I don't.
Trevor's doing his thing.
Defense has been rough. Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of NFL, but you know, I root for the Clemson guys in the NFL. So I hear Jacksonville has a great QB and a running back. Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Great combo. Mm-hmm. Played together a long time.
Where did those guys come from?
I don't know where they came from. I bet they won a national championship wherever they came from.
Yeah, as much
I heard they came from the same place. I don't know. I don't unconfirmed. I didn't Google it, but I heard they came from the same place, and they probably won a national championship together.
Wow, I believe it the way they
could have won too if you know that said running back would have been ran in the second national championship. Never mind.
That's a whole can of worms.
I was gonna leave that there.
KD is not a fan of Todd Monken. I disagree with the take that the 2021 offense for Georgia was bad. I think it was first of all, I mean, they started the season with JT Daniels at quarterback. Like, I think that was one of his best coaching jobs at Georgia. I mean, that offense was
they were bad at quarterback, dude. They were bad at quarterback.
And Stetson Bennett. The 2021 version of Stetson Bennett was about as average as grits, man. And I shouldn't slander grits like that because I like me some grits. I
do like grits.
You got to dress it up a little bit, but I do like me some grits. But like just plain grits,
average grits without seasoning.
Yeah, without seasoning. That's the way to put it. But I think that was one of his best coaching. Now, having a generational defense helped. So, like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's hard to judge, too much. But I think what he did with that 2022 offense, Georgia was legitimately a top 5 offense in the country with Stetson Bennett at quarterback. A top 5 offense. They were phenomenal. That was a great offense. It wasn't like 2019 LSU, don't get me wrong, but they were a bust. Like, they scored on everybody, basically. That was a legitimately good offense. During a time where Georgia offensively they just weren't ever that great. And I mean, that kind of just made them unstoppable. That's why they didn't lose a game that year. I mean, I don't know. I think Todd Monken would be a great hire. His familiarity with Matt Luke, I think that would be a natural fit. I think they would hit the ground running.
Yeah, and I think he calls the brand of football that Clemson is kind of designed to kind of play.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want a guy that focuses a little bit more on the physicality up front than a Garrett Riley did. Because that dirt raid that he sold in his introductory press conference, that's where it stayed, is in his introductory press conference.
Let's see. We got another super chat from Jake T. Thank you so much for the $2, sir. He says Phil Longo from Wisconsin. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest Phil Longo fan. And honestly, I think he reminds me of more of the finesse style offenses that you've had in years past. I mean, like even just recently with Garrett Riley, like I feel like you're just kind of getting enough. Like it's not the same offense, but it's the same. They're not his Phil Longo's offenses aren't overly physical up front. Great. I mean, they're great at creating explosive plays. It's a fun offense, but when you're mismatched on the line of scrimmage, he's not really going to have many answers. It's another offense where you'll probably have to abandon the run against better teams because you're just not going to be able to line it up and run the football. I don't know. I'm not a big Phil Longo guy. It's more of the
and he's a head coach now. So is he gonna want to go back and be an OC at a place like Clemson? Maybe. I don't know that Clemson would want that.
Even when Phil, like when he was offensive coordinator at North Carolina, in the Sam Howell years, like, those offenses were fun, but again, very finesse. They were very soft up front. Just not a great. It just wasn't a fun. It wasn't a great system. If you want to win championships, it's not a great system. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Arte says, I just saw Clemson job openings on Indeed. Shoot, man, I might go ahead and submit me an application. Just why not? We'll see.
Can we submit a joint application, Jordan?
Yeah. Hey, we'll co-OCs.
Co-OCs.
Hey, yeah. We can split like y'all don't even have to pay us like a quarter of what y'all are paying Garrett, right? Like we can split $200K.
Yeah, we good. We get 100,000 a piece. We good.
Yeah,
we good.
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dial up all sorts of plays. Don't worry about it.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to be? Would you want to be in the box or on the field?
I feel like I'd want to be on the field. I feel like I'd want.
That's fair. So I'll be in the box getting the bird's eye view.
I'm just gonna be punching dudes in the face.
Yeah.
I'll let Jordan be the brains of the operation, and I'll just be the motivator. You know what I'm saying? I'll just be, calling dudes out as they come off the field.
Oh yeah. We're gonna bring us back, man. I love it.
Yeah. We're bringing it back. I'm freaking out on everybody.
We'll run. I'll just run power and dive.
Hey, Isaac says that we can put him down as a reference. So see, we already got professional references. We're good.
we're Gucci, man.
We're pretty much hired at this point.
Yeah. Who could say no?
Yeah.
I know the chat wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody from from Wisconsin believes their offense is worse than Clemson's. Yeah, they're not wrong.
That's hard to do. Everything that Clemson's offense looks difficult. Everything looks hard. Like everything is just not easy. Getting a first down for Clemson looks like the most painful, excruciating process in college football. I don't know what it is. Like some games, like there's a game here or there where their offense is really rolling. But for the most part, under the Garrett Riley tenure, our offense has been a painful experience to watch. Like it's just been like everything looks difficult. When they finally get a first down, you're like, oh God. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, man. Ooh, finally got a first down. All right, here we go. You know, it's just nothing looks easy to this Clemson offense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I don't know why. Because you got skill players. You've got guys that can go do it, but it just doesn't translate. I mean, I don't know.
Let's see. Also, if we get a big name, how long would he realistically stick around for? I don't think you can worry about that in this day and age, to be honest with you. And really, I mean, when so much of college football now is year to year, and again, Clemson still needs to emphasize recruiting out of the high school rank, building the roster through the high school ranks, as that's ultimately how you win championships. But you can't be worried about when you hire a guy about how long he's going to stay here. And if you feel like he has the right offense for you in 2026, go get him. I don't care if you don't think he's going to be around in 2027. To be quite honest,
if you get 2-3 years out of him, cool.
Yeah,
I don't think it matters anymore. I think coaching staffs are there's going to be turnover, and you got to be okay with that as a coaching staff. I think you got to go get the best candidate and worry about how long he's going to be there later.
Yeah.
Because guess what? When people are looking to hire your offense and defensive coordinator, what does that mean, Jordan?
It means you did a really good job.
That means you're doing really well, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. If programs aren't looking to poach your coaching staff, probably means you're not very good.
Yeah.
Right? So that's just a part of it. That's a part of college football. That's a part of the process. You're going to lose coaches. You're going to have to replace guys on an annual or semi-annual basis. It's the world of college football. Because if a program out there sees that Clemson's doing something well, they're going to be like, well, we want that. Well, he's an OC. He's making what, $2 million a year, $2.5 million a year. We're going to pay him $5 million a year to be our head coach, right? It's a part of the game. It's okay. Yep. You go out there and get the next best candidate that you can possibly get to fill that position. That's just a part of it. I don't think you can worry about that at all. I think if you're worried about that, you're going to handicap yourself. I think you go get the best candidate out there. If they stay a year and leave, so be it. If they stay 3 years, great. If they're there for an extended period of time because they love where they work, that's great too.
Yeah.
As long as they're getting the production that you need out of them. Outside of that, hey, you got to go. Yep. There's a certain standard. And it has not been upheld at Clemson in the last 3-4 seasons. The standard is slipped. You got to get back to what the standard is. What does Dabo always say? I hate to throw out a cliche Dabo quote right now, but best is the standard, right? When's the last time we seen that? It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Best is no longer the standard, but you got to get to back to where best is the standard, because this ain't it.
Yep.
This ain't it at all. I don't care if they stick around for 1 year or 3 years or 5 years. Go get the best offensive coordinator that you can hire. We'll deal with the rest of it on the back end. Then we'll go hire the next best one. So on and so forth. How many times did Nick Saban go through offensive and defensive coordinators? A crap ton.
Too many times to count.
Too many times. What did he always do? He went and got the next best guy. That's what you do. You got the brand. You still have the brand at Clemson to do that. If you continue to let it slip, you will no longer have that brand. You will be getting second, third, fourth scraps of coaches after that. So capitalize on where you are now in the pecking order of college football and right the ship. It's so important right now because Clemson is so close to sliding off that cliff of you're no longer one of those bigger brands in college football anymore. You're just one of those mediocre teams down there, which is where Clemson was prior to Dabo Swinney coming. We're no longer there, but we're getting close to slipping back down there, and it's not okay. You got to right the ship now.
100%. JT hitting us with another $5, man. He is.
Hey, appreciate you, brother.
Gifting out the wazoo tonight. We appreciate it. Yeah.
You're a real one, man.
He says, honestly think Clemson has a good chance to get someone like Joe Brady. You know, I mean,
I think they could. Like, honestly,
give him a call.
I would not be shocked.
Yeah.
I'd be a little shocked because he left college to go to the pros. And I think maybe he doesn't want to be involved in college football anymore. But if he's got any inkling of coming back to college football, I 1,000% believe Clemson could pull him back.
Yeah.
If he wants to come back to college football. So we'll see. I mean, I'd call him. I'd definitely call Joe Brady. Why not? He's one of the best offensive minds out there. He tells you no, okay, you move on. But, I mean, a guy like that's at least worth a phone call to gauge interest.
I see some people mentioning Jimbo Fisher.
That would be an interesting dynamic between him and Dabo. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would work. I kind of put that towards like like I've seen Chip Kelly's name out there.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know if those two guys work with Dabo.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I think Jimbo would be like, I would be less shocked about Jimbo Fisher than I would Chip Kelly. I'll put it that way. I would be shocked about either being Clemson's next offensive coordinator, but I'd be more shocked about Chip Kelly. I don't think him and Dabo would mesh at all. And he's a guy that moves around a lot. And I just got finished saying you can't worry about that. But Chip Kelly's just, I don't think he would be a fit at Clemson. I don't think he's a cultural fit at what Clemson does. Now, Jimbo, to a lesser degree, I don't think would be a fit at Clemson either. But I could see where that might work, but I doubt it. Yeah,
and I have my own issues with Jimbo's offense that I just in recent years, I haven't been all that impressed in things that I've heard, from his time at A&M. I don't know if that's quite the offense that I want to see. But I don't think it's the worst hire you could make. I'll say that, but I would have my reservations about that.
Yeah, I would as well. I think you could do worse, but I would definitely have my reservations about it.
Yeah. Partake as do you think Dabo made this move with somebody already ready to go? I hope so.
It's a possibility. Like that's been the trend for Dabo when he's made big coaching changes. Like, as I pointed out before, when we did the whole Brandon Streeter to Garrett Riley segment, that happened in a day, like within an hour of each other. It was Brandon Streeter was fired, Garrett Riley was hired. Obviously, it's not happening that quickly this time, but no doubt that Dabo's got a good feel on who he's looking to fill the position with. And I don't think in major college football, I don't think you make these kind of firings without an idea of your list and who's interested, right? Like I don't think you blindly fire anybody in major college football. And if you do, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So you're an idiot, and you end up like Penn State, which I think recovered nicely, but that coaching search was an utter disaster. I think they did a good job recovering. However, it was a failure as far as how the coaching search went, not necessarily who they ended up with as a candidate. So I hope that makes sense. But no, I guarantee you Dabo's got a short list that he has already gauged interest with prior to the announcement of Garrett Riley being let go as OC.
All right. Let's do a few more, a couple more. Dave says, I still like Giselle, offensive coordinator at Wake Forest. He has Alabama roots. That would be an out of the box hire. I don't think Wake Forest ran the ball particularly well this past season. That's the thing that would make me a little. It's Wake Forest and first year coaching staff, and I think they completely outdid any preseason expectations. So I do think there's a lot of credit to be given for that. Jake Dickert is a pretty good head coach, but I don't know. I don't know if that's quite that. I don't remember Wake Forest being all that physical up front. I just think that defensively they had some really good defensive linemen. But obviously we're talking offense here, so I don't know. I don't remember Wake Forest being that particularly good on running the football. I do want somebody with some recent successful rushing offenses. Keep Chopping says go get Andy Kotelnicki and bring Grunkenmeyer from Penn State. That would be something. It'd be funny. Go get Penn State.
The quarterback that just beat you in the bowl game.
Go get a quarterback that beats you. Go get an offensive coordinator that beats you.
It wouldn't be the first time in college football.
Yeah, and go and for the second straight year, go and get a Penn State coordinator. That'd be something. You think we can get Cam Coleman in the portal from Auburn? His price tag is going to be it's going to be pretty hefty, and that'd be cool. I wouldn't be like if Clemson decided they really wanted to go get him, you could, but like I think you have more pressing needs than wide receiver right now. You have a really good class of receivers coming in out of the high school ranks, and if you bring back TJ Moore and Bryant Wesco, I don't know. I don't think you need another. I think you need to prioritize other things before you go and get a top flight receiver. That would be great, but I think there's so many other pressing needs on this roster, and financial resources are limited. No matter how much we like to present, it's like, just spend more money. I mean, you still gotta be within reason, and it's not infinite. So I mean, Clemson I think is lining up the funds to bring together a nice portal haul, but I don't know if it's going to be it's not going to be. I don't think there's a world where you go get a Cam Coleman and then have enough room to go get maybe a top transfer quarterback. I think it's a give or take there, and also you need to address your defensive end and linebacker and safety and corner. I mean, you got some real pressing issues, and I don't know. I think receiver spending a huge chunk of your NIL on one of the better position rooms on your team is probably not the best choice right now. I don't know. I love Cam Coleman. I wanted Cam Coleman bad out of high school. I was like, I mean, if Clemson had the opportunity to get him, even when Bryant Wesco and TJ Moore committed, like they were going to sign him. There was no ifs, ands, or buts on. They only planned on taking two, but if Cam Coleman wanted to come, they were not saying no. That's how good of a player, that's how good of a prospect he is. And he was in a terrible Auburn offense and still put up numbers, and we still flashed how good he actually is. He's an elite talent. I'm not shedding tears if Cam Coleman comes to Clemson. If Cam Coleman were to come to Clemson, but I think you gotta. I think there are other bigger needs right now.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. We'll do this last one from David and then get on out of here. We're hitting the hour and a half mark. Thank you guys so much for the support. We had a great turnout tonight.
Appreciate it.
Do well on these breaking news lives. David says, what do you read that Chris Rosina did not play in the bowl game? I don't read too much of it, to be honest. Like I don't think there was any world where Chris Rosina was going to come in and play in that game.
Yeah.
It was just it was K Klubnik's last start. I don't think that the staff had any intention of playing anybody else, barring injury or something like that. So I don't really take too much from that. I think two things can be true. I don't think Chris Vizina is ready to be your starting quarterback right now, but I don't think he didn't play in the bowl game because he wasn't ready. He didn't play in the bowl game because they didn't have any intention of playing him in the bowl game. I think that's just what it was. Unless you like blew Penn State out, and obviously that wasn't even close to happening.
Yeah, I think it was predictable that CV didn't play in the bowl game. I never thought he was going to play. I never thought Chris Stenson was going to play. I thought they were going to give K Klubnik kind of his curtain call game. He's been at Clemson for 4 years now. He's given everything to the program. I know a lot of Clemson fans thought that, they would have rather seen the future quarterbacks or future potential starting quarterbacks for Clemson play, but that was never going to happen. Dabo Swinney was never going to sit K Klubnik on the bench in the bowl game and not allow him to play. He was going to give him his curtain call moment. Unfortunately, it ended in a way that was sort of fitting for a K Klubnik career in Clemson. No K Klubnik hate here. I don't mean that, but it was just kind of one of those fitting exits, right? And I wish him the best. I hope he gets an opportunity at the next level, but it was not surprising to me that we didn't see another quarterback. It would have been more surprising to me if we would have seen another one. Yeah, the hard take. Yeah, his curtain call sack. Yeah, that was kind of what I was referring to there. So I wasn't surprised. And I'm on the record, and I will continue to be on the record in saying that Clemson's starting quarterback for 2026 is not currently on the roster. I believe that. I believe that should be the case.
Me too.
Hopefully, we see that come to fruition.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% that's going to happen, but hey, I believe if Clemson is going to be put in the best chance of being a successful program in 2026, competing and winning the ACC and being back in the college football playoffs and competing there, you got to go get a guy.
No ifs, ands, buts about it. You just have to. All right, y'all. I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much to each and every one of you that have tuned in tonight, commented, liked. Hopefully, you guys are sharing these lives with your friends. Those of you that are new, please consider subscribing. Me and Tiger Park Raven have been doing this show. We've been on this channel since 2022. Man, it's been a while now.
That is insane. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It seems like yesterday, Jordan, that me and you kind of teamed up on this Clemson channel. We were in comment sections for the longest time in the same college football circles on YouTube for a long time, and then we kind of landed on this Clemson channel together. It's been a great ride, and I look forward to many more years with you and myself on this channel and growing this channel. So I hope all of you guys will help us in that endeavor. Consider subscribing, like the videos, hype the videos, whatever new stuff YouTube comes out with, help us out with it. We are always looking to grow the channel. We will continue to do the show throughout the offseason, talking college football. We will also start talking other sports as well. We will start talking some baseball, some basketball, all that kind of stuff as well. So if that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing. We will be following the college football playoff closely through the national championship. We'll be streaming games. So don't think we're going anywhere just because Clemson season is over. We are a college football channel. Yes, we mainly focus on Clemson, but we are a college football channel nonetheless. So hope you will make us a part of your college football YouTube rotation. We appreciate each and every one of you for getting in here tonight. Thank you for all the people that super chatted. Thank you for all of the channel members. If you want to unlock our watch-alongs, our game streams, consider becoming a channel member. Hit that join button right under this video and select your tier and become a supporter of Clemson at the Voice of College Football on a monthly basis. We appreciate each and every one of you. Again, me and Jordan will be here for the entirety of the offseason. Week in and week out, we'll be right here talking college football and all sorts of other stuff as well. But we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. I saw somebody ask in the chat, are you guys going live tomorrow? Yes. This is not in replacement of the All In Show. This is an addition to the All In Show. So All In Show still happening tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Me and Jordan will be right here talking Clemson football, talking the college football playoff, giving our predictions for the quarterfinal games. We will be doing that. It'll be a lot of fun. BYOG or sell. For those of you that don't know what that is our buy or sell kind of thing that Jordan came up with. So come with your college football predictions in the form of BYOG or sell. So buy or sell. Hope you guys will come hang out with us. Hopefully we got a big crowd tomorrow night, and we will see you 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Go Tigers.
Later, y'all.